Hi, my name is Kylie Blacksell and I'm from Human Happiness, and welcome to your video tutorial on court and lawyers, how to avoid this expensive and time-consuming and very stressful scenario. The only winners, as we all know, when people end up having to go to court and to seek lawyers and go into that scenario, is the lawyers and the judges. Okay, the people that actually are in the conflict, that are trying to resolve something that obviously couldn't get resolved outside of court, usually feel quite disempowered because they've had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars and have had to wait a really long time and have had to actually go through that really difficult and usually quite scary court process that we all try to avoid. And often, and if you look at the court systems at the moment, they're absolutely chockers. And sometimes there's months and months, even years to wait for certain things to go through to schedule. So the lawyers are making a packet of money at the moment, and there's no problem with that. If that's their thing, that's no problem. They're definitely there for a reason, and the judges. And what's happening is the rest of us are spending a lot of money on court and lawyers because we can't resolve these conflicts outside of court. So I'm here to show you that there is a solution, and there is a way to actually avoid the court system, to actually resolve your conflicts outside of court. I'll give you an example. A client of mine that came to me, this person had been divorced for 10 years and had children with this other person, with their ex. And this person had decided that they wanted to move interstate, and so of course leaving the place where the ex-partner was living, which was obviously going to change the care arrangements for these children. And so of course my client emailed their ex and said, I'm planning to move interstate, can we please have a conversation about the new care arrangements that will obviously be happening because these children will no longer be living in the same state as both of their parents. And 8 days, but this is a typical scenario that I hear often. 8 days went by, there was no communication back whatsoever, not even acknowledging the email. And there was a couple of emails through the process where there was a couple of questions asking for more clarification, and my client gave that clarification, like reasons why and what's available for one of the children in particular that was wishing to go with the client. And then nothing. There was 10 weeks of absolutely no negotiation, no conversation, no discussion whatsoever. And this is often a situation where people find themselves in, because the relationship still carried so much hate and so much anger and so much resentment and so much fear. There was no space for negotiation. There was no space for a conversation, and so there was this stalemate going on. There was this stopping, this power plays and all sorts of stuff going on, which is a very, very common scenario. And many of you out there will actually be experiencing this sort of thing right now. The client came to me and said, okay, I feel like I'm pushed into a corner here. They spoke to the family law courts to find out where they were at, okay? And basically the lawyer said, look, this could take years, okay? Or at least 12 months. And the client felt very, very disempowered. They felt very much like they'd been pushed into a corner. They felt like they had no choice. They felt like they weren't being heard, that they weren't being honoured or respected in any way, and they were being unfairly treated. And I said to the client, this is exactly how your ex feels, okay? It's a really big thing to actually get to that place and to actually accept that that's actually what was going on for the other person as well. But when you're in a conflict, you're reflecting each other's fears, okay? So whatever fear you're feeling in your conflict, it's going to be exactly the same as what the person on the other side is feeling as well, okay? So I explained to the client that the ex-partner, the parent of these children that you're trying to negotiate care arrangements for, is actually also feeling like they're pushed into a corner. They're feeling like they don't have any choice. They're feeling like they're completely disempowered, they're being completely disrespected, and that stuff is just being thrown at them and they're expected to just be okay with it. Okay, even though that's actually not what the client was doing, that's actually how the person was feeling, because that's how my client was feeling. Okay, so that's one of the first steps in conflict, is to realize that you're actually reflecting each other's fears. You're actually feeling the same stuff. It might not look like it. It might look like that other person's being a bully or being nasty or being disrespectful or being very, very inappropriate, and looks like they've totally got everything under control, but underneath they feel exactly the same way as you do. So then I performed the Ho'oponopono. I did actually the healing process on this relationship. And after just one session working on that relationship, the ex actually wrote 3 emails in one morning back to my client. And one of them was all about how they were feeling. I'm feeling like you're just trying to control me. I feel like this and that. So there was actually some opening up, some serious opening up about how the other person was feeling. And the third email, excuse me, the third email was actually, let's start again. Let's do a pros and cons list. Let's just see if we can work this out. And my client was absolutely so thrilled. And this was the day after one Ho'oponopono session, where the lines of communication were opened up. And then within a couple of weeks, after this very, very long and painful and scary 10-week process of pretty much no communication and definitely no negotiation, within a couple of weeks after that, a negotiation had been reached, a conclusion had been reached, and an arrangement had been reached that was able, so that the client was able to move forward. So you might even think this is almost miraculous, but it's acknowledging what the other person's feeling, acknowledging that in a conflict you're both feeling the same thing. And the way to actually lift this programming is to use the process of Ho'oponopono. Okay, now you can actually come to me for therapy and you can go through the same process as this client went through. You can tell me everything that's going on, and we can go through that process, and I can do the Ho'oponopono for you, no problem. Or as well, you can do the course. You can do the Ho'oponopono course. It's a 2-day course. It's a very, very simple process of deciphering the programs that are involved in whatever it is that you're dealing with or that your loved one is dealing with. So it doesn't necessarily have to be about you. It can be about someone that you're noticing a conflict with. Maybe you have someone in your family who's dealing with a settlement issue or a child custody issue or some other kind of conflict that's not really working out very well at all. You could come to this course and actually find out the tools and work out how to decipher the programming for that person, for that loved one. And then it's a very simple process of removing that programming from all levels of that person's being, removing all the vows associated with that program and all of the soul contracts that are associated with it, and all the limiting beliefs, memories and pain associated with death or trauma associated with that program as well, that are all in the Ho'oponopono process. And it sounds like a really long and complicated word, but it's actually a very simple process. So I hope you found that story interesting, and I hope you're able to resonate with it, and you had some level of belief that this could actually be a possibility for yourself or for your loved ones, actually resolving these conflicts outside of court. Yeah, have a look at the website. You can find out about the healing therapy process. It can be done completely remotely. You don't have to physically come and see me face to face, or you can come to the course as well, or instead of. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.